Good morning. I have to say the thought did cross my mind to sort of like put a nice outfit on, do my hair, etc. and sit down in my usual spot in front of the bookcases in the living room to film this introduction, and then I figured no, that defeats the purpose, for this is a vlog, a writing vlog, a glimpse into the final weeks before deadline. So this is accurate. In fact, this is more put together than a lot of days, if I'm being perfectly honest. But we're in my charity shop oversized shirt. Hair is actually clean because I filmed some videos yesterday, not always the case. And I'm just sitting down to start my writing for the day. And I thought I would take you along with me. I have a deadline, which is for April. So I realistically need to have this book ready to send to my editors by like the 1st or 2nd of April. That is not far because right now we're on the 14th of March. So like I said, a couple of weeks. In between then follows my birthday, but I'm not doing anything particularly exciting this year. So yeah, like not much, I was gonna say not much else going on. There's lots else going on. I'm buying a house, doing lots of other things that are stressful and take up time. But my main priority, my main focus is this amazing novel that I'm so proud of and I love so much. And we are in the like second draft stage, shall we call it? I never know like how people interpret the word draft or not, because like draft sounds like it's not finished. It will be, and it is. It's fine. But what I mean by that is that I signed a book deal for the novel I'm currently working on last spring, summer. And I got the first round of like, shall we say, or like the only round I would assume, of like intense structural plotline edits and feedback before Christmas, so late autumn, early winter, which was feedback rather than being like line by line about spelling or grammar or the sentence not quite working or like this paragraph not quite conveying what I wanted to convey. They were more structural edits in terms of like the actual plot itself, which is something that you might go through and likely will go through if you're working on a novel with a traditional publisher. So, you know, they read the original version of the story and they liked it, but they had some suggestions and some really great feedback. And like, editors are experts, right? And they know what they're talking about. And sometimes you get so wrapped up in your own story, in your own book, you need outside perspective. So I really appreciate that. And we had these wonderful conversations about what should change. There was a request for kind of a bit more like drama at the end of the first act. It's got like a rough 3-act structure, which I completely agreed with. And I sort of figured out what would work, and, you know, like basically had to do some, not plot overhauls, but like some pizzazz. I had some pizzazz. I had to add in a little bit more to sort out like the pacing and everything else like that, which is like an important part. And that is what I've been doing basically since the beginning of this year. So over the course of like January, February, March, I've been doing that rewrite. And I'm in the final stages of it because, like I said, I need to send the final version to my editors, and I am more than 2/3 of the way through, which you would hope at this point, right? I have a rough 3-act structure, The entire first act is edited, we're good, it's fine, plotted, perfect, changed, improved, whatever. Then the second act, same kind of situation. I feel like there's one chapter that I maybe wanted to do something else to in that section, because sometimes I'm a bit of a jump around all over the place kind of writer. Yeah, no, second act is pretty much perfect. There's like one thing I just want to like fix in one chapter, which is like super minor. And then really what I'm working on just now is smoothing out and finalising the third act and the final act and the big ending of the book. I like definitely think it's all achievable. I've done some of the third act, but it's not like finished. We've got a lot of red in the third act area. So over the next 2 weeks, I'm planning on wrapping all that up and making it perfect, hopefully. In terms of the book itself, I don't know how much I can say about it because there's not been like a formal announcement in terms of the title and when it's coming out, but it should get a publication date for spring or early summer 2025. Like, that's what I've discussed with my editors, as long as everything goes smoothly. So when I have that date, I'll let you know. I'm hoping I'll have it this summer or in the next couple of months. So yeah, I'll obviously announce that when I do have it. But what I can say is that it is a reworking of Arthurian legend, and it's set in early medieval Britain, although it wasn't Britain back then. So yeah, that's what's happening, and I need to finish it, so I thought I'd take you along with me. Did I say already I'm moving house? But I've not moved house yet. I'm not moving till the end of April. So at the minute, I'm working in my mum's kitchen. Thankfully there's space for me, so I'm in like this little nook right now next to some of my dad's old books. I've got my desk and my computer from my own flat, and I've made my mark. I've made an absolute mess, and I really feel for my mum because we didn't expect me to be here as long as I've been here. By the time I move, I'll have been here for almost 6 months, and all my stuff is still in boxes and it's just piled around everywhere. But it's gonna be worth it, and I'm so excited to have a home with my partner and to make that a home when we get a chance. But in the meantime, I still have work. So that's what I'm going to be getting on with. This was a bit of a ramble, so I'm sorry about that. But yeah, so right now I'm working on the chapter that's about halfway through the third act, and I want to like smooth that out and make that all nice and neat. I had a thought last night that I thought really sort of smoothed out a little bump in the pot for me. So I want to try that out and work through it, and hopefully write a beautiful chapter. So yeah, let's get to it. Very, 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 very important writing work update. I am having my lunch in bed whilst watching Meet the Richardsons because I'm cold, and this is just where I want to be right now for the next half hour until I have to go back to work. I'm just taking a quick break because sometimes your brain just needs to do something different, needs a bit of variation to schedule the next episode of my podcast, That's Ancient History, which should be live by the time this vlog ever sees the light of day, because it goes live on the 25th of March, which is before my deadline, and this vlog is meant to be up until my deadline. So yeah, I'm just scheduling the SoundCloud track, which is then what feeds into all podcast apps. So like if you want to listen to it on Apple Podcasts, if you want to listen to it on Spotify, it's on all of these apps and a variety of other ones as well. It just feeds from SoundCloud, where you can also listen to it. Oh, sorry, computer. You can also, though, watch it on YouTube now as well. I know that's something that you're probably aware of if you're watching my YouTube videos. I've started uploading the video version of the interviews to my channel, but I know myself that, you know, there's some things I prefer to listen to and some things I prefer to watch. So whatever you want to consume it on, it should already be up. But it's an interview with the author of Riddles of the Sphinx, which is a YA retelling of the Oedipus cycle from the perspective of Ismene, who is one of Oedipus's daughters and Antigone's sister, the sort of lesser known of the two sisters, shall we say. And it came out a couple of weeks ago, so it already came out. It's a wonderful, wonderful book. In particular, if you liked Medusa by Jessie Burton, I think you'll love this book. But Megan is a classicist as well as an author, and that love of classics and antiquity and that knowledge base, I think, really shines through in this book. Yeah, I'd highly recommend checking out the book and listening to the interview. It was such a pleasure to interview Megan. So yeah, this should be up. I've been a bit distracted today, so we're working into the evening. It's also my partner's birthday tomorrow, so I want to finish early. So yeah, evening writing session. I've even got a Kit Kat somewhere in my hoodie. Got a Kit Kat to keep me company. But yeah, let's get to it. Totally unrelated to work. But I did mention it was my partner's birthday today, and I baked him a cake, and it's kind of fallen apart. I would like to say that I'm actually a decent baker, but I've not done this recipe before, and I definitely misjudged something because it's very unstable and it's crumbled a little bit, but I think it's going to taste delicious. I mean, what I've tasted so far that is amazing, this ganache and this rich chocolate cake. It was from a BBC Good Food recipe, so I'll link it down below in case you're interested. But Yay! Look at me, domestic goddess. Remember how in last day's clips I was talking about how put together I felt? Well, today my hair is like in desperate need of a wash. I've got stomach cramps because it's my period. Definitely not feeling as glamorous. But that's fine, that's work. It is though actually sunny, like it actually feels like spring. I'm going to put my coffee down because too many things in my hands. So I'm just sitting outside having a little sip of my coffee to get some vitamin D. I do need to pop out to the supermarket at some point today, but anyway, I just wanted to get a little bit of morning sunshine to reap the benefits, and I can't see, it's too sunny. I might just have to close my eyes while I speak. I just thought I'd give you a little update to what I was doing. Interestingly enough, to me anyway, I, despite the fact that we're very much in that like final drafting stage, have added a chapter, because like why not? I think that sounds a bit more dramatic than it actually is. I've basically added another final chapter, but what is now the final chapter before the epilogue, because what I thought I was covering in the previous two chapters in the epilogue, actually I felt with some new ideas I had needed more space to be explored, and to go into more detail about it. So I decided to include that detail and just expand that a little bit and separate out some of the information. So yeah, I have added at the moment chapter 31. We were at a lovely round 30 plus prologue and epilogue. Now we're at 31, which is fine. So, you know, if you end up reading this book and it does end up being 31 chapters exactly, you'll know the history of that. It's funny talking about this because obviously the final thing might be slightly different from what it is right now, because there will still be like another round of like final edits on this version, which shouldn't involve any big changes, but I don't know if that could involve merging two chapters if they're just not long enough or something. Like I have no idea what to expect from my editors in terms of like a more of a line edit from this. I'm so much more used to getting edits on non-fiction. So yeah, this has just been an interesting and a little bit different experience, as all writing projects realistically are, and a really positive experience. I really like my editors at Penguin. I think they're wonderful, and I've had such a positive experience there so far. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. We've added a chapter. Not like any massive plot points, but some details and some sort of scenes that needed more space. So yeah, that's what I'm working on today. Sort of figuring out what goes where in those chapters and redrafting them. So yeah, I'm sorry, I'm sorry I've not been looking at you properly this whole time because it's really sunny, but it's really nice. I was hoping that maybe one of the neighbours' cats would come and say hello, which is always my primary reason to go into the garden. But hopefully in a few months' time, when I have my own garden, I can get my own cats. I'm so excited about adopting cats. Yeah, this is like one of the things I'm most excited about getting my new place with. So yeah, if I do see any cats, I'll try and catch them on camera because I know some of you like cats too. But yeah, let's get to work. Let's drink the coffee. Let's get some sun and let's get to work. So I think the last time we chatted it was Monday. It's now Wednesday. My period's been a bit of a rude one, shall we say, getting in the way of me getting what I need to do done. Monday was actually really good. Like I felt like Monday I ticked so much off my list. I made so much progress on what I mentioned to you in the video, and I was really, really happy. And then yesterday was just like, you know, we did maybe a third of what I wanted to do. But my stomach cramps were just too too much, and they're still not great this morning, but we must push on if capable, and I think I am. So back at it, I'm at my desk. I'm just going to do a little brief kind of bit of work because I actually have a mortgage meeting on Zoom shortly, so I'm just sort of settling in, doing a little bit this morning before that meeting, and I thought I'd just do a little vlog clip since I'm just like chilling and settling in. And I never know what is interesting in a writing vlog, to be perfectly honest. I find these videos really fun to film, but also like I question myself as I film them. Like, what do you want to see from it? Because I can't necessarily share what I'm actually writing in detail, and I'm not really in the research phase anymore. Like, as I mentioned, I'm very much in redrafting, so I've kind of done all my research, but I was double checking a couple of things. I wanted to just confirm something with myself, and that involved looking at this book, so I thought I would share this with you because you might find it interesting, and that is Celtic Mythology, well, a dictionary of Celtic mythology, collected by James McKillop, and this is from Oxford University Press's reference collection. And I think this is such a good book because, unfortunately, I do think there is a lot of, and actually this applies to all mythology, doesn't it? But I'm just going to talk about Celtic mythology for a second here, whatever Celtic mythology even means, because Celtic is a word that is got a lot of different meanings to a lot of different people. Because of the nature of Celtic mythology and the fact that really there aren't any written texts from Celtic sources, or if we're talking specifically what is now Britain and Ireland, from those islands, for like all of antiquity and a chunk of the medieval era, you're getting information from very sporadic random sources in terms of like the Romans, say, interacting with what they call the Celts, and then you're getting people, modern people and medieval people, making assumptions based on very little information, random sentences, bits of stonework, things like standing stones, although those weren't actually built by, well, Stonehenge wasn't built by the Celts, and they're all getting sort of smooshed together. And a lot of like mythos in its own sense arises from that doesn't necessarily have any rooting in historical context. And you know, this does happen for all mythology, so I'm not saying it's unique to Celtic, but I think just because of the lack of tangible evidence for Britain and Ireland specifically here, there's a lot of misinformation out there. And a lot of wishful thinking as well, which I understand. There's a lot of like wishful thinking, mythologizing going on, and sometimes it can be hard to find good academic accessible sources and texts. And I find this a very easy to access. It is a dictionary, so you can just like look up whatever you want in it. Like, for example, I've flipped to this random page, and at the bottom here we have the Bean Nye, a female wraith of Scottish Gaelic folklore who washes bloodstained clothes when some person in the neighbourhood is about to die, usually in battle, and a little bit more information than that. And it's all, you know, it's all cited, and it doesn't make any leaps or assumptions about anything, which obviously, like, as a historian, I understand that sometimes we are making assumptions, although I like to think we're making presumptions because they're based on evidence. But I just see a lot of like wishful thinking, misinformation about like Celtic mythology in particular online. So this might be a fun book to check out if you're interested in some like kind of like basic facts about different parts of this mythology and this folklore. So yeah, but I better, you know, get to my work so that I'm ready for my mortgage meeting. That's my book recommendation for the day. After that big tangent about kind of reliable sources for Celtic mythology, I should probably say that you shouldn't use fiction novels, mine included, as sources or reliable sources of information about history and mythology. Read them, be inspired by them, let them lead you down a path to learn and explore and research more, but do not cite things from fiction novels, because as much as I have rooted a lot of my novel in research, it is fiction. I have changed things, I've added things, I have interpreted things, I have made them fit the narrative that I want to tell, and that is what all fiction authors do. I really feel like the baby hairs are just very symbolic, like this sort of halo of something. It's very symbolic. I just realised I hadn't updated you in a couple of days and thought I would do that. I'm still slogging away. I think things are going okay. There's like one thing now. There's just like one sticking point for me where like I'm like, like it's so small, but like for me I'm like how does this smoothly link to this, like it'll probably end up being like 2 sentences in the book, but for me it's really important. So that's my only real sticking point. Other than that, I'm just like formulating the words. I'm just going through the words and I'm like tidying them up, I'm adding in bits, I'm just like very much in that end section. But I do only have, well, I've got 10 days. It's the 21st today, but I'm taking off the weekend because it's my birthday. So take off those 2 days. And then I can't work one day of the next weekend, but I am going to work one of them. So it's 3 days off the 11 or the 10. So it's a week. I've got a week. Exactly a week, actually. Well, that's the plan. But I think like it's doable. It just means buckling down on the days I do have to work. And then there are other things that I have to do. Like this isn't the only thing on my plate, although it's the biggest thing. I had a meeting with my editors at Pan Macmillan, specifically MCL, the Macmillan Collectors Library, who I work with today, which was really nice. Like when you do work like I do, where you just sit by yourself a lot of the time and don't speak to other human beings except on email, it's really nice to occasionally have a little Zoom or a little meeting in person where you get to chat about things to people in the bookish world. I really appreciate that. So I had a little meeting with my editors today about 2 edited collections I've compiled that are coming out next year in 2025. So that's kind of like you're really working on the stuff for next year right now at this point. So I do have 2 collections coming out with MCL this year, which are already like done and dusted, but they don't come out until October. I forget the exact date, but I'll maybe put it on the screen. They come out in October, and they're a collection on witches and dragons. Specifically, I think witches, sorcerers and magicians, and dragons, serpents and wyverns. So like, you know, a variety of stories in these kind of genres, from mythologies and folklores, and different cultures and different fairy tale collections, brought together in one place. And they're from a bunch of different authors, like going back to antiquity into sort of like the 19th, early 20th centuries, and I love all the stories in there. They're so interesting. I love the subjects of those books, and then I've written a little bit of commentary to go along with each of them with introductions. So if you checked out my Greek myths collections with MCL, which were similar, it's that kind of vibe, but on the theme of a sort of mythical creature. So that's not what I had the meeting about today, but I have 2 more collections that I have compiled stories for that are coming out in spring of 2025. Which we were just going over the stories I've picked out and discussing them, and any edits that need to be made, or if we just swap any of them out for different ones. So that was what today's conversation was about, and the next stage for that book will be to obviously write my introductions to each of the stories and the books themselves on the topics. So that's going to be my next task, but first get this book drafted, get this book redrafted and done. But yeah, I'm having a little break. I'm going to play The Sims for half an hour before I make dinner in my bed. And then I'm going to work again. But you've got to have Sims breaks. They're good for your brain because you can see the productivity of your Sims and them achieving things in the game, and it makes you want to achieve things in real life. That's what I'm telling myself anyway. So yeah, I'm going to do that. For anyone that's interested, this is my Sim. Oh God, that didn't work very well. No, why am I so bad at this? This is my Sim at the minute that I'm playing with. Her name is Kim Johnson, and she's currently on holiday in Granite Falls with her boyfriend after just having graduated college and then quit her job. So she did university, did a whole degree in psychology, decided to quit her job afterwards, and is now on holiday finding plants. She's decided she's going to become an outdoor enthusiast. I've decided she should have a change of life goals in her little holiday cottage. Where is her boyfriend? I think he might be fishing. Let's see if we can find him. Here he is, Lucius. Focus camera. Yeah, he's loving the fishing. You just be fishing all day and night. I'm officially 32 years old. Glamorous as always. It was my birthday the weekend, and now I very much think I have entered into feral deadline mode. I think I had my birthday ahead of me when I last saw you, or when I was last at my desk, thinking that was going to be my nice, like, exciting little fun weekend, and now that's gone. It's just going to be me and my computer for the next 7 days. I'll probably take part of Saturday off just so that my brain doesn't give out on me. But I don't know about you, when I like hit that sort of last week or two of a deadline, and that doesn't just apply to obviously writing a book, this applies to like when I was writing essays and my PhD, like whatever the equivalent end period is to the length of time you spent on that piece of work, I just go into like feral mode and I just go blah, 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 and I'm like a little rat. And I feel like this weird state between peak stress, because obviously you want to do your best work and you're near the deadline, and also it's going to be over soon, so that's the only way I can explain it. But on an unrelated note, I just thought I'd share this with you because it's like tangentially connected via medieval history. We painted pottery last weekend for Chris's birthday, so our birthdays are just a week apart, and we went to Doodles in Edinburgh to paint pottery, and I painted a plate, and we picked them up this weekend, and I have to show it to you because it makes me chuckle so hard. I painted this. So this is a copy of another work. This is not my own original artwork. This is a copy of a cat disposing of a rat. There's more going on in the actual original picture I'll put up on the screen. There's other cats in the background, and this cat's like sort of carrying the rat away to put him out the house or something. It's bizarre. And I only bring this up because if you haven't Googled medieval cats, what are you doing with your life? Medieval cats are the best thing ever. It's so bizarre because when you look at tapestries and paintings and marginalia that depict cats from the medieval era over like hundreds of years, it is hard to believe that a medieval person has ever seen a cat in person because they all look bizarre. This isn't even the most unrealistic one. None of them look like real cats, and it's just wild. I mean, that's clearly like a mouse rat type thing. What is this? And this is eerily close to the original. I think I did quite a good job copying it, but yeah, this was what I painted at the pottery session, and I just wanted to show it to you because I'm actually quite proud of how it came out. It's quite similar to the original, and I also just think, like, if you go pottery painting, a part of you might think, I should paint something really tasteful, like a cute little pattern, something I would maybe find in like Oliver Bonas, or like a cute little pottery shop that I would pick up myself, and little fruits or flowers. And don't be fooled, you should paint something absolutely chaotic that there's probably no likelihood you'd ever find in a shop, because otherwise what is the point? You should paint something weird and bizarre, even if it means copying medieval artwork. That is my motto when it comes to painting pottery and having a fun day out. Also, if you're in Edinburgh, Doodles is great fun. So yeah, that's my accomplishment. Now I'm going to go write my medieval fantasy novel and polish it off, and then, you know, check in with you later. Evening working in my pyjamas after I've had a nice refreshing bath. Just to give you an honest update. Remember how I got to 31 chapters earlier in this video? I actually think we're going back down to 31, not because I'm deleting content, but because what were chapters 26 and 27, I am now thinking need to be merged. I don't think they stand alone, and they need to be together. So I'm going to go through the process of merging 25, what was 26 and what was 27, not into one chapter but into two chapters, and just deciding where it's best for each one to end and begin. So that's why we're in the red again over here. But that means we're back down to 30, and there's something quite satisfying about that to me.
I was going to say this is completely unrelated to writing, but sustenance is an important part of work. And I just wanted to mention one of my favourite things to have sort of come out in the sort of vegan vegetarian world in the past few months, if not years. And that is the Squeaky Bean fake smoked salmon. I've never actually had smoked salmon, so I'm probably not the best judge of this, but my partner, who's a pescatarian, really likes it as well. And it's so good, guys. It's so good. If you can get your hands on this, it's so tasty. So yeah, I'm having my little cream cheese fake salmon bagel for lunch, which is very exciting. I'm sure this will make me do amazing work. I love Squeaky Bean in general, so yeah, just a shout out to them if you're looking for good vegetarian or vegan meat replacements. So I'm staying at my mum's at the minute until my house is ready to move into at the end of April. And I was just sitting here typing away at my desk, which is currently in her kitchen, and she comes in and hands me this picture of myself 31 odd years ago now. I'm 32, this is me as a baby, and tells me this is the vibe I'm giving right now on deadline. Like this is on deadline face. And it's the absolute shade. Like, yeah, I do kind of pull that face when I'm working. Don't mess with me. But like, I was not prepared for that. I was just like happily working away here, and then I get confronted with this is your face right now. Apparently I have not changed in 32 years, still embodying whatever this is, stylish 90 baby. So yeah, there you have it. That's the kind of shade you get if you live with your mum when you're 32. I'm looking forward to the house being ready. I think it's important for me to admit to my mistake and revel in my humiliation online, because after twice now discussing and updating you on the chapter count of my book, I have only now just realised, as I'm almost done ticking everything green, that I have 2 chapter 20s. So even though I combined those other 2 chapters, there was never 30 chapters. There was always at least 31, because I had misnumbered my chapters. Yay! I just want to say that it's Friday now, with the deadline being Tuesday. Technically, it's a bank holiday weekend, so that's why it's a Tuesday and not a Monday. I think everybody like in an office job or in publishing right now is on holiday today, the Friday and Monday, but that is freelance authoring life. I'm not taking the bank holiday off, but that's fine, because then I'm taking a couple of days off next week after I submit this book, and I have to say I'm just like feeling really good about it. I feel like I've ironed out all the issues, but like little jarring moments or like not quite articulated moments or what have you. So I feel like I really ironed out the ending, which was where most of that lay, and I'm really happy with that. And I just basically need to write up a little bit more and expand on like the epilogue and stuff. It's still like a little bit of work. I certainly need the time that I've got to do it, but I feel really good about it. Like, I don't feel lost or panicked about where the story's at or where this draft is at. So yeah, that's really just a nice feeling, and I just wanted to commemorate it. So I'm gonna go get on with doing those final edits, and I'll check in with you sometime before I eventually submit. I did it! It has been sent off, emailed to my editors and my agent, the final draft. I'm in like a weird state of like sheer exhaustion and like mentally and physically drained, whilst also being like, but I also think I need some fresh air because yesterday I didn't leave the house at all. It was bucketing down with rain, so I have an excuse. But to celebrate, I'm gonna go meet my friend Jill for lunch. Maybe I'll buy myself a book. It's important to treat yourself. We'll see. But yeah, I sent it off this morning to deadline, which is good. I am sure there will be further edits, line edits, that kind of thing. But I am very pleased with the progression of events in the actual story itself, and I hope they enjoy the changes I made and the additions I made and how it now reads as a whole entire book now, and hopefully that also will mean that I will be able to tell you about release dates, covers, etc. in the coming months. I'm really excited to share more. So excited. But yeah, thank you for coming on this little journey with me. I think it kept me accountable vlogging it. It was fun. I think I'll enjoy having this to look back on as like a sort of week where I was working on something that like means quite a lot to me. So yeah, it's really important, but also a little bit different from what I've done in the past. Let me know if you'd like future work vlogs, whether they're like at the end of projects, at the beginning of projects. On a side note, I am currently working on, not for a contract or anything like that, it's not been signed with a publishing deal or anything, but I have been working on a contemporary romance novel as like a sheer joy project, and I'm past the halfway point, but obviously put it down whilst I was redrafting this piece, and it's what I plan on writing in my spare time again now that that's done and I'm working on other things during my work day. So yeah, if you want to hear more about that, I don't know, like I don't know, but I've enjoyed vlogging this. I'm grateful to any of you who've made it to the end because it's probably been quite a long video, and I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good about what I sent to my editors. I'm sure I'm gonna have like an absolute sort of like collapse of energy in a few hours, but in the meantime I'm excited to spend some time with my friend and just do something fun. We'll probably just talk about Criminal Minds and books, and that will be wonderful. So yeah, thanks for watching. Let me know what you'd like to see in the future, and I'll see you in the next one.